Yo you guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and this one we got a Michigan football video. Gonna be going over a lot of stuff around Michigan football and latest news and updates around the Michigan football team, including injuries, injury update with J.J. McCarthy, Ronnie Bell, and more. Also what Harbaugh has to say about players in spring practice. Also talking about Michigan's preseason rankings and a couple more things. So we're going to be getting into everything in this video. So if you guys are new around here, I'd really appreciate it if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And other than that, let's get right into today's video. Alright, so the first thing we're going to start with is J.J. McCarthy and Ronnie Bell's injury. Now, according to Jim Harbaugh appearing on the In the Trenches podcast, Jim Harbaugh said that J.J. McCarthy is set to start throwing on Monday, and he said it's great news. So we should be seeing the quarterback competition finally taking off. Now, the McCarthy injury were never revealed publicly from Harbaugh or anybody on the team. However, sources did tell MLive that J.J. McCarthy was dealing with a nagging issue in his right throwing shoulder, and he just had to sit out for a little bit during practice. So he should be back and throwing the ball now in practice. So that should be very, very good because, obviously we were expecting him to throw the ball, I think, around like springtime, so it is spring now. Very huge, and hopefully he can catch up to Cade McNamara, and hopefully it should be a fun and healthy quarterback battle. Now, Ronnie Bell obviously tore his ACL in September and is nearing his return as well. Harbaugh said more like weeks away from being full speed. He said he's running, he's starting to cut, he said he's real close, he's almost doing everything that everybody else is doing. The rehab has been fabulous. And then the injury update on Carter Seltzer. He had a nagging hamstring injury, Harbaugh revealed, for much of the spring during spring practice. But Harbaugh said that this week he should be back full speed in a week or so. So that's the latest news on all the injury updates. So very cool, especially for Ronnie Bell and J.J. McCarthy, two huge important players for this team. So the next thing I want to talk about is a guy who could play a two-way role this fall in the season, and his name is Kalel Mullings. We saw him in the spring game as a running back, and he actually looked very good at running back. He is originally a linebacker. Now, we have seen obviously Mike Samerstil, the receiver, go to defensive back and also play wide receiver. So we also got A.G. Henning. Apparently Harbaugh wants to use him kind of as a Deebo Samuel, running him as a wide receiver, a returner, and a running back. And Harbaugh said that I let the cat out of the bag. He said I moved Kalel Mullings to running back and linebacker. He said this week in the Trenches podcast, and he said he's now a two-way player. So that's very cool. And like I said, I mean he looks really good at the running back position. Jim Harbaugh said he looked real good, and he looked real good in practice. And he said the amount of knowing the plays and knowing the offense will develop as he goes. He said, but it could be Tavir Dunlap, who is originally a running back as well, or it could be Kalel Mullings as the guy who replaces a lot of the carries Hassan Haskins did as a power back. So that's very cool. And Harbaugh also confirmed that he has also been experimenting with receiver A.G. Henning at running back. He said he's got the skill set to do it, and kind of envision a Deebo Samuel type of role for him, like we've mentioned. And Harbaugh just wants him to get more touches with the ball. So I kind of like this. I think our offense is going to be scary good this upcoming season. We got so much talent, so many players. We're experimenting right now in spring practice, and just moving players around the table, seeing where they could fit. And once the season comes, it's going to be fun to watch this offense. No matter who the quarterback is, whether it's Cade McNamara or J.J. McCarthy, I think this offense is going to be stellar good. Have so many playmakers. The offensive line, Jim Harbaugh thinks that could be even better than last season. So with all that being said, and Harbaugh talking on the Trenches podcast and getting what he is saying about players. Going to continue with that. What he said on Oluwadimi, the center for our offensive line, transferred from Virginia, and this is what Harbaugh had to say about him. He said, "There was never any, I was a Remington finalist, I'm the man, look at me." He said he was always about his business, very mature guy, and fit in great with the group. He said one of the guys who proved himself, he already carries a lot of weight, and somebody that when he talks now, and the more he talks, the better, because he's a very squared away guy and a very good leader and a very talented player. Now, Oluwadimi is a front runner to start at center for the Wolverines, so he should get the start, I'm guessing. Now, another guy, Morant Walker, he is a 3-star recruit. We covered him a lot in the 2022 cycle. He is a freshman, obviously, now, true freshman right now, enrolled early, and Harbaugh said Darius Clemens and Morant Walker are your prototypical outside type of receivers, catching contested balls, running the deep crosses and the crossing routes. He said Darius definitely is the more physically developed. Morant, once he puts in the offseason, gets another cycle these next 4 weeks, and then the summer cycle, gaining the strength and endurance, you can just tell he's going to be a tremendous football player to go along with all that athleticism. So we saw Darius Clemens in the spring game absolutely go off. Had some fantastic catches. He is going to be a huge threat in the future. Morant Walker, he has the length and the size to be a very good Moss-like wide receiver. Not like Moss, the actual player, but being able to Moss people out there on the field. So very cool there. And then Alex Orji talked about him. Harbaugh said Alex can really run. He was limited even in the spring game with an ankle injury that he had. That's a strong, powerful, fast runner, and probably a little more ahead in throwing right now than Jaden Denigale. Jaden Denigale is another freshman that came in from the 2022 class. And Harbaugh also had to say this about Andrew Gentry. He's obviously a freshman. He is not yet on campus right now, but Harbaugh spoke at length about the offensive tackle who is completing a Mormon mission before enrolling at Michigan. He said he's all of 6'8" and 333 pounds. Said he's 310 right now. He said getting back into playing football, knocking some of that rust off, I think it'll be the big thing for him. So that's pretty much everything that Harbaugh said, all the important stuff. And now wanted to talk a little bit about the preseason rankings. However, before we do that, just wanted to break some breaking news that just happened about a couple minutes ago. Safety Jordan Morant has entered the transfer portal. He was a 165th ranked recruit in the 2020 class, appeared in 8 games as a Wolverine last season, primarily as special teams. So obviously a lot of talent in that position, and he just entered the transfer portal. Thought I might say that. Now we can talk about the preseason rankings though. So Michigan, obviously after the 2020 season going 2-4, 2% chance to win the Big Ten. All of that talk, underdogs. We obviously went against all odds, won the Big Ten, beat Ohio State, and went to the college football playoffs. This year, Michigan's preseason ranking is number 7 based on ESPN's FPI. Now, kind of disrespectful. To win the conference, Michigan is given a 7.2% chance. Ohio State a 73.6% chance. And to make the playoffs, Ohio State at 82.3%, Michigan just a 14.8% chance to make the playoffs. So again, disrespecting Michigan. Obviously got a number 7 ranking in the preseason, but the percentages I just don't really add up. But it's probably a good thing. That'll just motivate this team even more. And this team's coming off a fantastic season. They don't expect to stop. All I can say is that this game against Ohio State, the game in Columbus, Ohio, is going to be a very good one. I don't think anybody will want to miss that game, and especially after Michigan giving Ohio State a whooping in Ann Arbor. So it's definitely going to be fun. And yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. and what you guys have to say. Other than that, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.